And we are live. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the show. This is the Top 5 with Chance Ellison. I'm, of course, your host, Chance Ellison. And, I had a few obligations the last couple weeks, so I wasn't able to do the Top 5. But I am back for this because the Oscars are coming around, where we honor Hollywood's biggest and brightest, or maybe biggest and whitest, depending on what wins. Who knows? We'll see what happens. But we decided, in honor of, since we're honoring the best of 2021, let's look at the best of the entire decade. Because, see, this is a part one of our best performance series, best performances of 2010. This is the male edition. And I have a really great panel talk.
Oh, I'm here. Hi. Hello. I'm here. Anything I'm going to say?
Hold on.
Remove
myself from the stream. There we go. My bad. But yeah, Jake, how you doing today, bud?
I'm doing well. Yeah, Oscars are coming up. I'm a big fan. We're going to see what will win, what should win, and what will not win, and be very upset about. And I'm glad that we get to talk about performances that, for the most part, got overlooked. But this is going to be fun.
Jake Marangoni, world's biggest Chicago 7 stan. Right next to me, may know him as a Little Boat, one of my good buddies. Albert Brooks did have a performance in 2010s. We'll see if that makes the list. Who knows? It's Caleb Boatman. Caleb, how you doing, bud?
I'm doing good. This should be fun. Get to talk about some of the more. I feel like we'll have some obvious ones, but I definitely have some like under the radar picks on here too. So should be fun.
I dig it, man. I dig it. Under him, you know this guy. You love this guy. Former Mutual Schmodown singles champion, and one of my good buddies that I've gotten to know really well the last couple of years. Adam Collins. Adam, how you doing, bud?
I'm doing well. Thank you for the pomp and circumstance. Albert Sphincter, it's good to see you both as well. You're looking dapper as hell tonight. I am ready to dig into this because I have some decidedly unique picks, admittedly, but I think between the four of us, we could really hash this out.
Well, it's not just the four of us. We do the fifth panelist. He's running a little late, but we're gonna start with Adam. We're gonna have him jump in.
And he's dead to us anyway. But
he's dead to us. He's maybe dead to us anyways. We'll see how it goes. How it turns out. But yeah, the way the show works is we curate a top 5 right here live for you in a stage of 3 different selection processes. First one is the nominations period. What we're gonna do is we're gonna go around the table and nominate a performance that we think stands as one of the best of the 2010s. Then the rest vote on it. It's 3/5 majority vote, and it comes down to a tiebreaker. When our last guest gets here, he will break the ties if needed. So yeah, we're going to see. I'd be very impressed if we can get the top 7 done without the 5th guest. And I think it'd be hilarious. But let's see if we can get that done. It's not a goal, but let's just see if it happens. Starting with myself first, because I always like to start these things. This is performance. This is a very wide field, but I'm actually starting off with somebody who not only got nominated for performance, but actually won an Academy Award. I'm going with his supporting performance in 2010s. I'm going with J.K. Simmons Whiplash. I think that Simmons in Whiplash, he digs into something that we knew he's capable of, but we never saw it to this extent. Like, he is violent, he's raw, he's at times pretty scary. But there is a method. You do see the method to his madness because you do see him trying to bring out the best in his students. And, it really makes you question, by the end of the movie, you're really questioning every aspect of that performance. You're like, oh, was he impressing the whole time? Did you really just like hate him? Was it your tempo? Was it not your tempo? We don't know. But I do think that it's incredibly quotable. He's fantastic in the role. He steals every single scene he's in. Granted, there's not a lot of people to steal it from because it's mostly just 2 guys in the movie. But you get the point. He's excellent in Whiplash. So that's my first nomination. I'm going to go to Jake first. Jake, does J.K. Simmons Whiplash make top 7?
I would say that J.K. in Whiplash gives one of the greatest supporting performances of the 2010s. It's hard to deny he is great. I'm going to say he gets my vote absolutely 100%. Definitely top 3 supporting performances of the 2010 25. His character is so great, in which the motivation that he drives his students and the way he's able to kind of mix between playful and kind, and then just the drill sergeant-esque personality that he goes with. I think it's fantastic, and definitely hard to deny. I was expecting such a bit of a choice already for the first pick, but yes, I absolutely gets my vote.
Ouch. That hurts, Jake. That really hurts. Gonna go to Caleb next. Caleb, does J.K. Simmons Whiplash make top 7?
Yeah, if you didn't bring this up first, I would have. This absolutely one of the best of the 2010s, easily. I think even though obviously like his big yelly or were you rushing or were you dragging moments, obviously great. For me, my favorite moments of his performance are like the quieter moments, like just the little. I think it's not even a full minute, but the scene where he's talking to the little girl who dreams of being a musician. You see how friendly he is, and like how you feel like that's how you realize that's just a complete facade. That's a great moment, and his good job speech, incredible when he's with Neiman at the restaurant. So yeah, obviously gets my vote for this.
All right, so that's it. J.K. Simmons ratified. He is the first person to take a spot on the top 7. Adam, what would you say about J.K. Simmons and Whiplash?
Well, since his role as Garth Pancake is ineligible for the 2010s, I would say it stands. No, honestly, I can't argue with this, guys. Now, when I was curating my own list, a lot of personal factors went into it. So what I ultimately picked may not have been as obvious, but when I was looking at movies from the decade, Whiplash certainly was something that I thought about putting on my own list. J.K. showed us his absolute range. He'd been around forever, and that movie was when everyone really noticed him and was like, okay, it's not just J. Jonah Jameson. And he also, it's so obvious like that he's this intimidating character, but at the same time, what I like about it is by the end of it, you see how obsessive, Miles Teller's character is as well. And just the balance between them is fascinating. So no complaints about J.K. Simmons being on this list.
All right. It doesn't matter if you wanted to complain. He's on the list regardless. So, Adam, you talked about your own list. I'm going to throw to you next for your first nomination. Who's the first actor you want to throw up for the top 7?
Okay. In the 2010s, a lot of actors got recognition throughout the decade, some of them for very specific roles. And a guy who has gotten his share of love from the Academy, including a recent win, is Joaquin Phoenix. And he's never bad in movies. And while he got a lot of attention for Joker, I don't think he's bad in that film, but I think it was a travesty that he wasn't nominated for You Were Never Really Here. Which I think is a summation of Joaquin Phoenix's raw talent. I think it's the better version of, the kind of stories we saw portrayed in a film like Joker or more derivative films. Lynn Ramsey has a really unique eye, the way she addresses, the idea of suicide, post-traumatic stress, what it means to deal with white male rage specifically in a way that's, kind of eschews a lot of the cliches of the genre. So what I really like about that performance in particular is there's a lot of quiet. There's a lot of moments where Joaquin's not saying a word. And I think that's when he can be the most impactful. I think being nominated for The Master is fair. I think being nominated and even winning for The Joker, I'm not crazy about the film, but I do think he's good in it because I think he's good in pretty much everything. But I think You Were Never Really Here had a lot more meat on the bone. And I think it stands out as what I would argue is a good pinnacle of his acting from the decade that was overlooked in a lot of ways.
All right, so Joaquin Phoenix and You Were Never Really Here is on the table. And you mentioned my white male rage when you're going off on your filibuster. Speaking of white male rage, our last panelist has arrived.
Oh, well, that was a weird intro. Hi. That was a weird way to get me into the show. Okay.
Yes. Dafoe is here to round out the rest of the panel. And you know what? I'm going to go to him first, Caleb. Do you think Joaquin Phoenix in You Were Never Really Here should be top 7 of the decade?
I don't think it's top 7 Joaquin. So that makes it like a rough call for me. I mean, like the movie's fine, like he's good in it. That movie didn't like really hit for me when I did on my 2018 watch, so I'm gonna download that one. Sorry.
All right. So
welcome to the panel, Caleb. Welcome to the panel.
I know. Sorry. The thing is, like, you sold it really well up there, and I was like, if I come in and be the first one, I'm gonna have to shit on it.
You like what you like.
That's what happens when you're late.
I'm prepared for this show not to go my way. It's okay.
Fair.
That's the best way to come into this show.
Yeah.
Jake, I'm gonna go to you next. Joaquin Phoenix, and you were never really here.
I love Joaquin Phoenix, but I have to abstain from voting. I've not seen You Were Never Really Here, so
Really?
my bad for not having seen the film yet. I love Joaquin. He's great. But I just couldn't. Just haven't seen this movie.
All right, Adam, things are not boding well for you, but still alive. Gonna go to Caleb next.
I feel really bad. I also haven't seen it. I wanted to see this movie. I didn't see it. I'm sorry, Adam.
And so it begins. It's okay.
Okay.
It's okay.
You know what? Since my vote doesn't count, I'm gonna give it a yes. Because I love you, Adam.
I appreciate it. At least we got to talk about the movie, and maybe some people will see it.
Exactly.
Maybe we'll see it.
It is now higher on my watch list.
Excellent.
But yeah, he is fantastic in that film. Not my favorite Joaquin of the 2010s, but probably like 2 or 3. He's great. He's great in that film.
Watch it more than once. Trust me.
Okay, I will watch it again at some point. Caleb, I'm gonna go to you next. Who is your first nominee? And by the way, just to catch you up. Oh, sorry, I know there's 2 Calebs. Boatman.
Yeah.
Boatman.
Hi. Okay.
Just to catch you up, Coho. Only performance on the list so far is J.K. Simmons Whiplash. I'm assuming it would have been a yes for you.
It would have been a yes.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay, so
I
Caleb,
didn't know who the 5th panelist was going to be. Now that I do, I feel pretty confident I at least have one other vote for this performance.
I figured when I saw you, I was like, we're gonna get at least one on.
We'll see. And then watch. He's gonna give this a no vote. It is no secret that I have an actor that is one of my biggest favorite actors of all time. It's not this guy. It's not this actor. It's
Okay.
really not this guy.
Okay.
not Albert Brooks. I'm a big fan of Albert Brooks. I'm not talking about Albert Brooks.
Gonna bring up this one
Sam
more.
Rockwell. And I know what Coho is thinking, and Coho, you're gonna be happy. I'm going with his absolutely magnetic performance in 2013, way back.
Perfect. Okay. You picked the one. You picked the one I like more.
It's neck and neck for me. I think they're 2 of the best of the 2010s, and if way back goes down, we'll see. Anyway, I think Sam Rockwell is Owen. Obviously, you just have some of the best comedic moments and comedic performance in a movie of the 2010s by far. I know 46 different ways to kill a clown. I trained as a clown fighter when I was 16. I'm kidding, except for the part where I really do hate clowns. There's a lot of real fun moments in it, but he has a lot of heart. I think the moment on top of the tower in the morning is just one when he gives a speech about that's why I don't like patterns and rules, and I think that's fantastic. I think this movie is incredible, and I think he is one of the biggest reasons why the movie is incredible. Sam Rockwell for the way back is my pick.
All right, Coho, you seemed pretty telegraphed what you were going to vote, so why don't you go ahead?
Fuck yeah. This is probably, I think, Rockwell's best performance, pound for pound for me. Most people will take 3 billboards. I get that. He's really good in it. But I think what he does in the way back is more impactful for me. The way that he's able to connect to this kid through, he has the dry, sarcastic wit, but there's that moment in like Bubba said up in the morning where they're talking on top of the water slide. And he's like, and he talks about how Steve Carell thinks he's like a 3 out of 10. He called me a 3, and he's like, 3? Called you a 3? And he I really emotionally helps this kid who's going through a lot in this movie. He goes through some bad shit in this movie that doesn't feel like bad shit until you really think about what that does to a 13-year-old. And I think Sam Rockwell is just so phenomenal in this part. So absolutely yes.
All right, so that's 2 votes. Yes, only one more to ratify. I'm going to go to Adam next. Adam, Sam Rockwell on the way back. Way back, I'm sorry.
Very charming performance. This is the movie where he looks the most like Matt Nose because his hair is blonde. It's a really enjoyable film. I have no complaints about it. I do think it'd be interesting to see Sam Rockwell's character in Whiplash and see J.K. Simmons in The Way Back giving advice to that kid. That especially at a water park, that'd be fantastic.
Are you running or are you walking?
Here's the thing. I want us to be able to keep our options open for the top 7. So I definitely think it's a really good performance. Very, very charming, likable, but I'm not ready to ratify it myself yet just because we have 6 slots to fill, and I know there's a lot left on the table.
Yeah, there's a lot left on the table. And I agree with everything that's been said so far. He is fantastic in The Way Back. Probably maybe my second or third favorite performance in this movie because I do think the kid's great. I think Liam Cunningham's his name. He was little Sean.
Liam James.
I know that. Liam James, that's it, not Cunningham. That's the Spartacus guy. Nevertheless, I do think that Sam Rockwell's great in this film, but I think if we're gonna put him on this list, I think it should be for something else. So I'm gonna go no. And Jake, falls to you, buddy.
Okay, so I love Sam Rockwell. Not as much as Poe, but I love him. He's in Charlie's Angels. That's automatically
The best part of Charlie's Angels.
That's the thing.
That's it. But this is top 7 of the decade, and I feel it gives us echo what you guys have said. Just gives us more chances to go through other performances. Not a diss at Sam. Love the guy. I'm gonna vote no, just because I think there's a lot of performances we can get to, and that I think are better and more resonant. So yeah, my vote is no.
All right, that's it. So that's close the deal. Sam Rockwell for The Way Back does not make the list. Jake, going to you next. I feel like I know where you're going, but I want to see if I'm wrong.
Well, I have a couple of options. I'm just trying to think which one would be the best one. So Adam was mentioning Joaquin, and while I have not seen You Were Never Really Here, I think there is a definitive performance from him in the decade. Should have won, but I guess Day-Lewis needed to win his third for good reasons, I guess. Who knows? But I'm going with Joaquin Phoenix in The Master. Freddie Quell is one of my all-time favorite characters ever. World War II vet, suffering from some sort of trauma and PTSD. He's a crazy alcoholic and he likes sex. That's pretty much me in a nutshell, except for PTSD, World War II.
I mean, you live in Australia. That's basically like being in World War II.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a good point. And his dedication and his commitment to playing this type of character, such a weird, eccentric, sort of insane person, just in the 50s. I think it's such an interesting kind of juxtaposition, and especially when he joins the whole when he joins PSH's religious movement. I think has some really great scenes that allow him to really perform and really showcase him as an actor. And it's just so mesmerizing to watch, especially during the processing scene where PSH is just asking him a bunch of questions, and just the way he just doesn't blink his eyes, and just you see him just slowly go crazy and crazier with each question the longer he holds through it all. It's great. Yeah, I would say he's my choice.
All right, so Joaquin Phoenix did not get on for You Never Really Here, but is going to get on for The Master. Going to go to Boatman first. Boatman.
This is tough because I think he's really good in The Master. I really do. But I think there are 2 other Joaquin Phoenix performances from this decade that I prefer. So I think I got to give it a no.
All right, that's 1 against. I'm going to go to Adam next. You tried to get your boy on for another movie, but are you going to let him on for this movie?
I'll tell you what. The Master, it's not like in my upper tier of PTA films, but I do think it's strong. And I think he's mesmerizing in it. And yeah, he didn't make it on for You Were Never Really Here. And I knew that probably wasn't going to happen. But I'll tell you what, I'm going to vote yes, because I do think he's an actor who merits recognition for at least one of his performances on this list. And this might be my last chance to nominate him. Maybe not, Albert, but we'll see. I'm going to vote yes, because I do think it's a strong performance.
Well, 1-1. I would normally go next. I'm going to see what Coho thinks. Coho, Joaquin Phoenix.
I really like his performance in The Master. I think he's the third best performance in The Master, but he's really good. But I also think The Master is maybe the best PTA movie. It's up there. It's in contention for me. He's great in it. I also think it's his third best performance of the decade, maybe of his career. It's great. I think there are two other ones you could have brought up, and I would have said sure. I'm going to keep the options open and say no in the hopes that we get one of the better Joaquins or maybe someone better than Joaquin in general.
Jesus.
Cutthroat.
I feel like Joaquin's going to get on for something. At some point, he will get on for something.
Yes.
But he's going to get on. And if he's going to get on, I want to be for this. I'm ratifying The Master. That makes top 7.
Yes. That's it.
All right, so go. Your time to shine, buddy.
This is rough because I'm like dancing between 3 in my brain right now as to which one I'm going to lean. And I'm going to go with this one because I think if we ever did this topic for writers, the undisputed top writer of the decade is Aaron Sorkin. And he has 4 great films that all came out with great different characters and great performances. I'm picking Michael Fassbender and Steve Jobs. I think Michael Fassbender's performance as Steve Jobs is the best of Fassbender's career. Yes, I've seen Shame, and he's really good in Shame, but I think Steve Jobs is better. I think his performance as Steve Jobs is a really masterful performance of being able to balance the different emotions that Steve Jobs shows in all 3 of those different scenarios, as well as the 3 different people he is throughout his life. The cocky, hothead superstar in the first one, that's very much like, not my kid, yelling at everyone, has to be this way. And then in the second part of his life is a little bit more weary, but is also just in defense mode for most of that, where now all that heat gets thrown back at him, and you see how he handles that with Scully abandoning him and his daughter keeps telling him, you know what about the song? You already asked me that. Why are you asking me that? That's sort of like annoyed like performance that he gives. Until in the third one, when you see his daughter wants nothing to do with him, and he's at that point where now he's like come full circle on it, and he's like, "Of course I named the Lisa after you." When he says like the acronym, and he's like, "That doesn't even make any sense." Like, of course it was, and like that moment on the roof just brings his whole arc full circle. And only Fassbender, I think, can show all 3 of those very different people in those very emotional ways, and the way he plays off of Winslet and Rogan and Daniels and even Stuhlbarg is just amazing. I think that's Fassbender's best performance. He should have won the Oscar. I say Michael Fassbender is one of the best of the decade, and Steve Jobs.
All right, Michael Fassbender for Steve Jobs on the table. I'm going to go to Jake first this time.
So, honestly, this is not even my favorite performance in an Aaron Sorkin written film of the 2010s, to be honest. And I think it's also blasphemous to say that this is his performance is better in this than it is in Shame. Shame is goddamn outstanding film. It is. I have to say, it's Michael Fassbender, and he's great, and I love him. But when I say top 7 of the decade, I am, as much as I'm going to say no, as much as I wouldn't want to. I just think, looking at the criteria that I've set, not the best Fassbender performance of the decade. I think it's a better performance that's similar and also written by Aaron Sorkin that I think could easily make the top 7.
Oh.
We'll see if that gets brought up later, but I just don't think it can be considered the top 7. At least for me personally, I think he's really good in Steve Jobs, but I can't go too far to say top 7.
All right, so that's 1 no for Fassbender and Jobs. I'm going to go to Caleb next. Boatman.
Hi. Okay.
Obviously you, because you.
Oh yeah. You're right. People already went. My bad. I'm so used to
get your head in the game.
Caleb. At this point, I just can only recognize myself as Boatman at this.
Same. That's how I feel about being called Caleb. This is all co.
Fair enough. Okay, Boatman, you're next.
Anyway, absolutely. I think Michael Fassbender. I love this movie. I love it. Steve Jobs is one. When I first saw it, I was like, "This is good." And every time I go back to it, I appreciate that movie so much. I love specifically the dynamic between Wozniak and Jobs. That I think the way those two work off of each other works so well. And yeah, everything co-host said about Fassbender just perfectly kind of exemplifying the three different modes of Steve Jobs, and you see the full transformation that his character goes through is just perfect.
Okay, so that's two yes, one no. Adam, I'm gonna go to you next.
They make a compelling argument, don't they?
They do.
Yeah, when you guys join forces, you're scary. Yeah, let me think about this. You're not allowed to come back to me, are you? I have to decide right now. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, again, it's hard to ignore representation for the actor's career when you're considering the performance as well. And I think Fassbender emerged as one of the greater acting talents in the 2010s for obvious reasons. I do think there's a lot of subtlety to his performance in Steve Jobs. It's really terrific. And you know what? I'm going to go ahead and vote yes, because I personally, and I don't want to we can talk about this later, but there's another performance in a similar film that I don't find as impactful because I connected more with the Steve Jobs story. That being said, we'll have that conversation later in some capacity, I'm sure.
Ashton Kutcher and Jobs not making this, buddy.
Hey, listen, Ashton Kutcher and Jobs is underrated. I'm kidding.
Yeah, that's totally the movie I was
Ashton
referring
Kutcher
to.
is from Iowa, I can confirm he cannot play Steve Jobs.
Yeah. Now the thing is, I caught up with Steve Jobs late in the game, but I didn't see the Kutcher film. I passed on that. But I was really impressed with Steve Jobs with the way they approached the material, and I think to Boatman's point, on repeat viewings, you pick up a lot more on the way the different segments connect and the way his character changes from period to period. So I'll give you that one, guys.
All right, so that Michael Fassbender in Steve Jobs is the third person to take up a spot on the list. I would have gone no, much like Jake's reasoning. I think he has at least two better performances in the 2010s. I'm really regretting not making Shane my first nomination, which is what I wanted to do, but I thought it'd come back around and I could do it at this time. But Fassbender's on the list for Steve Jobs. I'm not gonna, and I could nominate him if I wanted to, but I'm not. But he's not gonna get 2 spots on the list. Let's be real. He's not gonna get 2 spots. So okay, back to me. I have one of two going through my head, but you know what? I'm gonna go with another not his lead performance. I'm going with the person who should have won Best Supporting Actor in 2015. And no, I'm not talking about Stallone, because I'm talking about someone who wasn't even nominated. I'm talking about Idris Elba in Beast of No Nation. I think Elba, coming and playing Commandant, who was basically a leader of a child soldier force, I think that this is a very hard character to nail down. But I think he does a great job of tackling subtle nuances of like a figure like this, in that, he does have charisma. He is powerful. He has a presence to him that's unlike anything you'll see in this movie, which is why he's the master of following. Like, they get you to totally buy into that point where you're like, shit, I might follow this dude if he talked to me. I think that this performance that basically legitimized Netflix as far as Oscar nominations go. The fact that he was not nominated in Best Supporting Actor, I think, is maybe the biggest snub of that year. Which is saying a lot, because there were a lot of big snubs that year. But yeah, that's my pick. Idris Elba, Beast of No Nation. I'm gonna go to Caleb first. But I'm sorry, Coho first.
Oh, okay. I've never seen Beast of No Nation.
God damn it!
I've also never seen Beast of No Nation.
Fucking people.
I've also never seen Beast of No Nation.
Okay, I guess it's done. I haven't seen it.
Yeah, but at the same time, I don't think I'm going to get you very far on this, buddy.
Okay. Well, that's it. There goes
I know. I mean, I think it. Here's the thing, though. Can I just say, I think people should go back and pay attention to this movie, because it got lost in the Netflix shuffle since they've blown up, and people overlooked that was one of the first Oscar contenders from Netflix. So, yeah, and Idris is a very talented actor who works his ass off. And I hope he gets another chance to get more recognition, because Yeah.
I should have brought it up at the Dark Tower. My bad. Okay, fine.
Yeah.
I would have voted
Going back. Fine. I guess mine was very short. Mine didn't make the list. Going to Adam next.
Okay. Well, I was on the fence about my top 5. I waffled back and forth. And the thing is, if I'm being honest, I have some people in my top 20 that would just have been hopeless because they would have suffered the haven't seen it syndrome probably. That said, I'm going to go ahead and take a shot in the dark and say if you haven't seen it, I hope you look it up, even if the genre isn't your main thing. Lee Byung-hun in I Saw the Devil is one of the most striking performances I've seen that really caught me off guard. And I know it's hopeless. I know, guys. It's a genre film. It's Korean. People probably haven't paid attention to it. But at the same time, this movie is really easy to find on streaming. Those who don't know about it, it is the story about a Korean special agent whose fiance is killed by a serial killer. And he takes it upon himself to seek out the killer. But while the plot may seem obvious, the thing that's interesting about it is Lee Byung-hun throughout the film. The tables turn very subtly throughout the film, and his character becomes really frightening in his own right. And there's a very, very commanding presence to him when he's observing his prey throughout the film. And I'm talking about the protagonist, Lee Byung-hun. He is the guy playing the serial killer is Choi Min-sik from Old Boy, who's also really, really good in the film. And it's violent, it's rough, but at the same time, I didn't find it gratuitous at all. And it's not a film that's necessarily about being right or wrong, but it puts you in the driver's seat and doesn't let up. So I know it may not get ratified, but I hope people seek this film out because it's an underrated performance from both leads, and I think people should see it.
Anybody else seen this?
Sorry, Adam.
Sorry.
No, sorry.
Hey, guys, here's the thing. I didn't want to insult you by assuming you hadn't seen it, though. I wanted to throw it out there, okay? So go see it. It's okay. I'll take the hit. I'm 0 for 2 so far.
All right, that's 2 throwaway picks back to back. Back to you, Boatman.
Hey, I will go with. I know someone on call hates this actor, and it's so weird that he hates this actor, but I'm going for it anyway.
I know what you're talking about.
I think it is insane that you hate Leonardo DiCaprio. I think it is insane that you hate him. I think that is a weird take. And I'm going with what I think is his best performance of the 2010s, and honestly up there for maybe my favorite performance of his period. Going for his performance as Calvin Candy in Django Unchained. Just absolutely terrifying. But also, he's terrifying, but you also get the sense he's kind of an idiot. How he doesn't want anyone to speak French, but he has this weird, Francophile attitude about him, but, he doesn't want to be insulted by anyone actually speaking French. But just, I think the big, scene is the blood scene with Kerry Washington is, one of the more iconic moments in films in the last 10 years. Just absolutely powerhouse performance from DiCaprio.
Okay. Should I get my no out of the way right now, or should I? Okay. We're gonna go to Adam first.
Okay, I'll try and keep it concise, but I think Calvin Candy is a really impactful character. I personally might be holding out for another Leo performance from this decade. But if this ended up on the list, it wouldn't hurt my feelings. Forgive me, Boatman. I'm going to vote no to keep the floor open. But I do think it's really good, and I ultimately agree with everything you said.
All right. Going to go to Coho.
So Django Unchained is my favorite Quentin Tarantino movie. And Calvin Candy, I think, is Leo's best performance of his career. So this is an absolute yes for me. Boat nailed on the head. The exact way that Calvin Candy is scared of anyone smarter than him. But he himself wants to look really smart. Is not put like at the forefront of his character. But that is one of the most like defining traits that I picked up on every watch of him. I think DiCaprio plays that super well. Down to the shake. Down in the South, we shake hands when we finish a deal. It's such like a snarky son of a bitch move. I hate him, but I love to hate him. This is an absolute yes.
All right, we're gonna go to me next. And look, y'all know me. Y'all know how I feel about Leonardo DiCaprio. He's not my favorite dude, if you'll say. Which is why it's going to be really weird that I'm going to be the one to ratify this. Because there are a couple leader performances that I really love. This happens to be one of them. I think I've said it multiple times. I don't think he's ever deserved Best Actor. But I think I would have given supporting for this all day. Because I think he is incredible in Django Unchained.
Never deserved Best Actor? Holy shit.
Nope. Not once.
Yeah.
I mean, this is all the first time we've seen play like an outright villain. Except Titanic, which he is the villain. Clues are there. Pay attention.
What the fuck?
Going to well, that's it. Leonardo DiCaprio is the fourth person on the list. Jake, what would you say? Your vote doesn't count, but
I probably not would have voted. Just I mean, I like Leo a lot. There's a couple other performances I would have definitely have voted for, and now I don't think I can. Knowing that he's already made it, I don't want to double dip. I think it's a good performance, definitely. I think Walt and Jamie Foxx give better performances, honestly. But
interesting.
But I do think Leo is good, so yeah.
Well, that's 4 on the list. So, Jake, got 3 spots left. What do you got for us?
Do I want to go with the wild card, or do I want to go with the safe choice? That's pretty much my.
That's always a dilemma on this show.
Follow my example, Jake. It really works.
Let's go for wild card. I would say this is similar to JK in Whiplash. I think this is one of the best supporting performances, and this is never going to get nominated. But I think Daniel Kaluuya in Widows is goddamn terrifying, frightening, so committed. I freaking love him in Widows. I think he is one of the most terrifying performances of the 2010s. I seriously think that he's the same in the basketball court. I think it's like the way that he asks him to rap. It's just holy shit. The way the camera moves around and he's just staring at them, and then without spoiling the ending of that, I think is so frightening and terrifying. And he is just on point. I love his performance in Get Out. I think this is my favorite Kaluuya performance, and I've seen Justin Buckenside at this point. I think he's great in that. Widows is just on another level, I feel.
Well, Judas doesn't count for this list.
That's true. That's true.
2020.
I was talking more just about Daniel Kaluuya, but yeah.
But fair enough. I see your point. All right, so Daniel Kaluuya for Widows is on the table. I did not see this one coming. Gonna go to Boatman first this time.
Why do you have to go to me first?
Because
I think besides Jake, I am one of like the big people in this community who is like, Widows is great and more people need to watch it. And Daniel Kaluuya should have been nominated for an Oscar for Widows. But there's 3 spots left. But he's so good. But he's so good.
see if he gets to a vote eventually, folks.
I'm having a crisis of conscience. He's so good, guys. He's so good. Go watch Widows. I'm gonna say no, but go watch Widows.
All right, so that's we had to murder him to do it, but we got to know how to vote. But gonna go to
that hurt.
Adam.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Jake. We got to keep these spots open. But yeah, your assessment is fair. Yeah, we got to keep those spots open at this point. I don't want to wax poetic too much on Widows right now because I think Caleb and Jake's passion is enough for all of us.
All right, so going to me next. He is excellent in this film. That being said, I think there are better performances from him in this decade and from that year in specifically. But I agree. Should have been nominated for Best Supporting Actor. He's excellent in Widows. Go watch the movie. But for me, unfortunately, it's gonna be a no. Caleb, would you said?
I don't love Widows, but I do love him in Widows. So I will give you the theoretical yes, since it doesn't matter. But I would have voted no had it come down to it. I'm sorry.
I had to come down to you. Would have voted no anyway.
Yeah.
Why couldn't I have gone last? So I could have given it the theoretical yes.
because that's how the show works. But go to Caleb. You're finishing us out this round. Next performance.
Hey, let's see if I can get another one. Okay. So this is tough. You know what? Yeah, we're gonna stay in 2018. We're gonna stay in 2018, but I don't think it's gonna be the one that I know Chance loves most. 2018, I think, is maybe one of the most stacked Best Actor races I've ever seen. I think Rami is good. I think Rami is really good. I think Bradley Cooper was really good. I think Viggo is fine, and I never saw Eternity's Gate. But the person who should have won was Christian Bale for Vice. I think Christian Bale in the movie Vice is giving a phenomenal performance as Dick Cheney, and to the point where I forgot it was Bale throughout that entire movie, as he just became the person he was playing. You can attribute that partially to the makeup, but I think the way Bale talks, the way Bale just growls as that character and just commands the room in it, made me forget that was Christian Bale. Down to the end, his Oscar clip that they played, I think was honestly the perfect Oscar clip to use. Was just the whole like "you need me" sort of like scene is where he talks directly to the camera is so intimidating. I think my favorite scene in that movie is just the way where he and Carell play off each other when him and Donald Rumsfeld are there, and he's like, "What do we believe?" And Donald Rumsfeld just laughs in his face and closes his office. Is like the entire sort of message of the movie, but also totally nails Bale's performance. I think he's great all the way through that movie. So I'll put Christian Bale in Vice, which I think is his best performance of his career.
Interesting. Okay, Christian Bale in Vice. Yeah, that's not entirely false. Christian Bale in Vice is on the table. I'm gonna go to Jake first up.
So let's talk about pros before we get into the cons. I do.
Am I on an anti-Adam McKay panel? Uh-oh.
I mean, you know, pro. You also have but I will say I do 100% agree. You don't see Bale. He is one of the most transformative actors of this generation. The way he's able to change and play different characters, it's fantastic. And I do like his, I guess, physicality. I guess his physical performance as Dick Cheney. I think it's great. You don't see Bale, you just see him. But I can't say this is what best top 7. Well, I think it's more just he's playing the same note throughout the entire film. There's nothing that changes. There's nothing that he doesn't emote as much as just whispering and the way he just calmly speaks to everyone. There's nothing else to his performance. And while I do like Bale and I do like the physicality of him playing Dick Cheney, I just don't think there's anything else there for him. So my vote would be no.
All right, so that's 1 no for Christian Bale. Going to go to Boatman next.
Coho's gonna hate me for what I'm about to say.
Am I about E2 Brute?
I don't think that Christian Bale in Vice is the best performance by Christian Bale in an Adam McKay movie.
Oh, you son of a bitch.
Because you know what Adam McKay movie I am a shill for, and it's not Vice.
And when I'm a doctor, I think there's a knife in my back. I can't quite tell, though.
I haven't even voted no yet, you dingus.
Vote no, then, and get out of the way, you bastard.
You know what? I was going to vote yes, actually. I was going to be like...
Then vote yes if you're not going to vote yes.
Great. But you know what? No. Just for that, for assuming I was going to betray you, you get betrayed.
Damn it.
Me too, Brute. Me.
Okay, So after an almost yes, that's turned into a no. Adam, what do you say?
He's very portly in this film. He
That is a
reminds
statement.
the movie reminded me of a very unhappy time. I know a lot of people were nostalgic after the recent administration left, and I can understand why. But those of us who lived through the Bush administration, it sucked too. And Vice was just kind of like staring that in the face, and I do think it was a really good performance. I'm not mad at it being nominated. It didn't stick with me because Dick Cheney doesn't stick with me, and that's personal. But I'll give you this, Coho. Very strong performance. I apologize, I can't vote yes.
All right, so that's it. I almost said Dick Cheney and Vice. Christian Bale is Dick Cheney and Vice. Does not make top 7. No.
What made?
No. Because he just kept saying Dick Cheney so much, why it's stuck in my head. It's not because he disappeared. Although he is great in Vice.
He does disappear.
When you said 2018 Best Actor, I'm like, I for a second thought like, oh, he's gonna do this, but then you swerve. I'm like, oh, no, he's doing the thing I shouldn't have saw coming from him.
I think
that's fine.
There's like a strong top 3 race in that race.
So it all would have been chance you would have voted no anyway, correct?
I would have voted no. Yes.
Okay, Coho, you don't get to give me crap for that. Well, I'll change my vote to a yes. There, you happy?
Pepperidge Farm remembers.
All right. I'm going. I'm up next. 3 spots left. I keep trying to get somebody of color on this list. I'm gonna try to do one of my favorite actors of right now. I think this dude's excellent. It's a matter of which performance of his I pick, because there are multiple ones I think you can make an argument for being on this list. But I'm ultimately going to go with the one that showed us, at least movie-wise, what this guy can do. I'm going to go with Michael B. Jordan in Fruitvale Station. Damn it. I think that... Nah, shit. All right, well, last one there. That's fine. I think Fruitvale Station, he does a great job portraying the reality of a man who was Oscar Diggs. I think that it doesn't shy away from portraying that Oscar Diggs wasn't a saint. I think that he has a great dynamic with his daughter, with his girlfriend, his mother, and when he meets, you can see like why he was he's ever seen such tragedy, because like he was in such a he was one of like those guys in your community like where you recognize him. He was a good dude, had a couple bad breaks, yes, but he ends up what happened to him. I think he's an incredible actor. Like I said, I think there are like 3 performances you could make a convincing case for to be on this list, and I'm gonna go with. Turn your phone off, whoever that was.
That was me, sorry.
Damn it,
Just wanna wake up.
All right, so that's my bid for him on this list. I have a feeling if I had said something else, you would have given this a yes.
I was sitting there going, which one is he going to pick? Which one is he going to pick? And if you had said, literally, any other one than this, I probably would have said yes, because I haven't seen this
You would
one.
not have said yes to the awkward moment.
Okay, calm down. Calm down, moment.
All right,
What I'm saying is, I haven't seen this one.
Okay, gotcha.
If I'd seen it, I probably would support you. I think Michael B. Jordan is one of the best actors working right now. He's incredible. I love his work in Creed. I love his work in Black Panther. And every time I see him, he's fantastic. I can't back this one up because I haven't seen it. So
Fair enough. All right, that's cool. That's cool. Gonna go to Jake next.
Thank you to me.
Michael B. Jordan.
Just like her, I'm a terrible human being who has not seen this movie. Damn me.
Wow.
I really want to watch this movie so bad, and especially how relevant, unfortunately, this film still is. It's just one of those films that is on my watch list that I just am too chicken shit to watch.
Am I about to have the same shit happen twice in a row? Caleb, have you seen this? Boatman, have you seen this?
Guys, I've heard this one is real sad.
God damn it.
I've seen it.
Thank you, Adam.
I've heard this one's real sad, so I haven't been in the headspace to watch it because
God damn it.
it's sad.
And yet you all have seen
Okay.
Schindler's List 87 times.
I've seen it once, and he hasn't seen it.
That was supposed to be a secret.
I also haven't seen this list.
Exposed. All right, fine, Adam. You're the only one that would have me back on this.
I'm
one.
going to vote yes.
Thank you. All right,
Because it's a...
Now we're even, Boat.
Say what?
Me and Boat are even now. I totally accidentally just revealed that he hasn't seen shit in this list live on air.
Exposed.
Oh, no.
All right, Adam, next nomination. See if you can get something on the list.
Well, we all know that Caleb gets to have a fun Saturday night this week.
That's what you're doing. I thought you're doing Saturday. You watch Reveal Station.
Schindler's List watch party.
Oh, that too.
Yeah, that's
Back to back, double feature.
We're not watching, so let's listen in Iowa about.
Okay. So yeah, I just wanted to say Fruitvale Station's fantastic, and I give that performance my vote.
Okay, so Adam, next bid.
Well, look, I think it's all downhill for me at a certain point with my list. But I was on the fence about a couple, and I'm going to go ahead and take a swing. I'm sorry I couldn't support you, Jake, for Widows, but I am going to nominate Daniel Kaluuya for Get Out because I think Daniel Kaluuya made a statement in that film, as did everyone. The Oscar recognition for that film really excited me as well.
It's true.
Okay, in his defense, it is kind of law down there. So,
Let's see.
What I found so special about that performance in particular is the film's very disarming in the beginning. It almost feels like it might be a satire, like we might be able to relax a little bit. And part of that is the charm of the two leads, and their chemistry. And Daniel Kaluuya ends up carrying the film on his shoulders, as it evolves halfway through. But I think what's amazing about him in that movie, especially, is the way he reacts to what's around him, and how we as the audience really key into that. And especially as we get towards the end and things escalate, I think he exemplifies some really subtle aspects to his performance. The scenes in the chair with the tears, the hallucinogenic scenes, and again, just the way we're quietly rooting for him the whole film. And I just think that film is going to stand the test of time. I think it really encapsulates a moment not only of us as a society, but as a moment for the horror genre, and really brought it into the mainstream in a meaningful way. So I'd like to see him recognized for something on this list, so I nominate him for that.
all right. So Daniel Kaluuya's up for Get Out. Jake, many different Kaluuya performances. Are you gonna let this one slide?
I wanted Kaluuya for Widows. I think it'd be awesome just to have him on the list. I think his performance in Get Out is one of the best, maybe the best horror performance of the 2010s, if I'm being completely honest. I think everything that Adam said, the way he just observes the absurdity of the family is just so mesmerizing and just really interesting to watch. And he also just one of the most expressionistic faces, especially during the scenes where he's in the sunken place and that whole sort of hypnotism that's going on. I think if I'm not going to have him for Widows, it would be a shame to not have him for Get Out. I'm going to vote yes. I think it's definitely worth it.
Now, Paul's asking a very important question in the chats. Caleb's haven't seen this. We might need some reparations. I agree. So, Caleb, Coho, have you seen this, or am I going to give you my Venmo?
No, I'm kidding. This is one of my top 10 movies of the year 2017. I like Get Out a lot. I'm going to say no for the reason of I don't think Kaluuya's performance makes my top 7. I think he's good in it. I think he deserved the nomination. I wouldn't have given him the win. I know he didn't win, but I wouldn't have given him the win of those.
Doesn't matter if you would have given him the win. He didn't win.
I know. But no, I'm gonna say slight no, though I do think he's great.
I could go to me next, but I want to go to Boatman. Would you have voted Kaluuya for a third time if you could?
I would vote for Bradley Whitford 80 times if I could. That man is my dad. Go, Josh Lyman.
I'm gonna have to say no to this one too, but I do think Kaluuya is very good. I think Kaluuya is fantastic. I'll be honest, it's not a performance that I find myself coming back to a lot. I like Get Out, but when I watch that movie, I'm never right away. I'm never oh man, Kaluuya is like just amazing. I'm like, oh man, just the storyline and the writing. That's more what I think about after that movie. Like, obviously Kaluuya is good, but he doesn't make my top 7 for performance of the decade.
All right, so it's down to me. And you know what? I'm sticking with my homie. He makes the list. Daniel Kaluuya makes top 7. Because like I do disagree. Like when subsequent watches for me and Get Out, I do notice like subtle, like nuance he brings to performance that I didn't pick up on the first time. You know, like the way he acts with his face, the way he reacts to certain situations, like coming back to the trauma with his mother. I think that it is a multi-level performance that I just did not. I didn't give credit for the first time I saw it. And subsequent viewings, I do come around to it. So yeah, I think Kaluuya is an awesome actor, and I will gladly put him in the top 7. Back to you, Bubban.
All right, I'm gonna
2 spots
go.
left.
Yeah, I would, with 2 spots left, I would be very disappointed in myself if I didn't at least try to get this person on the list. We already struck him out once. I'm gonna try for it again. I'll go Sam Rockwell and 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri. I think this is one where you get to see him as just an absolute scumbag, just the worst, but in a funny way.
Until George Bush.
The way what?
Until George Bush.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
No, that's fair. But no, like he is absolutely fantastic in finding both the darkness and the comedy in this performance. The way he works off of both Frances McDormand and Woody Harrelson is just what makes this one of the best. I think it's what makes 3 Billboards one of the best movies of the 2010s period. And I think Sam Rockwell just gives one of the best supporting performances of the decade.
All right, I'm going to be first on this one. I do think he's really great in 3 Billboards. I haven't revisited that movie since it was in theaters during the Oscar campaign, so I remember it's a little hazy, but I remember liking him a lot. However, it's just not one that has me coming back. Like you are with Kaluuya, I'm not coming back for that performance. So, IJO, I'm going to go no on this one. Adam, going to go to you next.
Okay. All right. So Sam Rockwell, very talented man. I'm glad he finally got an Oscar for something. I was mystified when he got nominated for playing Bush. I felt a little silly.
Strange. Very strange.
But that not because he's not a good actor, but I think for him to receive the Oscar for this performance was a really good recognition of the fact that he'd been around for such a long time, like J.K. Simmons was. And that we've really been, treated to a lot of great performances of his. When it comes to my top 7 of the decade, this one doesn't linger with me as much, to your point, Chance. So while I can't fully give it the upvote, I still I can appreciate the moment in time that movie was, and I think when you contextualize the film, I think the performance holds up pretty well, but I can't give it the full vote.
All right, so that's 2 no. I'm going to go to Coho.
I'm a vote, yeah. I think Sam Rockwell is great in this. I think he is very good. Boat nailed it. I'll give it on that one.
Down to you, Jake.
I don't want to be the deciding factor in this.
Too bad.
Damn it. Okay. We said no to him for the way back, but he's great in that. And he's really good in this. I think his performance is fantastic. It's definitely it's a fine line with a character like this. And I think Rockwell he balances himself really well. You know what? To make this interesting for the top 7, I'm going to say yes. I think
Jesus.
It makes the list. Well, let's see how it goes. Yeah, I'm curious how it plays later on and when we decide the top 5. I think let's see. Let's give it a shot. Let's give him a shot.
Oh, wow. Okay, fine. Sam Rockwell and 3 Billboards. I guess makes top 7. I did not see this one coming. Okay, Jake, your next nomination. We have 1 spot left on the list.
Okay, so let's bring up the big guns. there's a couple of performances that I want to go with, but I think I have to go with what I think it's one of maybe my favorite film character ever from my favorite film, Michael Keaton in Batman.
I was waiting for
Oh,
this.
Jake.
Jake!
Oh, Jake. Fuck.
So, the certain type of performances that I always admire and love is the meta narrative that goes with a performance like this. Keaton, very similar to what happened with Regan, played Batman, then left, did a bunch of interesting films, but did not get the attention that I think he fully deserves. And with this film, and what happens in the film, he achieves a celebration, an attention that he rightfully deserves, and he got that from playing a character who gets that sort of attention in this movie for a nomination, which he should have won. Eddie Redmayne, not good on you for portraying Stephen Hawking, but Michael Keaton just delivers so much to this performance because it's, in a sense, it just spiritually it is him, and he adds so much to it, and I just really appreciate. It's just, I love Regan and I love what Michael Keaton does. He's always been an actor that I've always appreciated. And this film really makes him, showcases him as a great performer, especially during the scenes where he's in the stage play, really shows how he's able to play different characters throughout the movie. And I just think it's a fantastic performance. I'm going to say Michael Keaton.
All right, I've had Michael Keaton on the table. I had very visceral reactions from both the Calebs. Boatman, what do you have to say about Regan Thompson, Boatman, Michael Keaton?
Hold on, do I go next after Jake for nominations?
Yes.
Okay, just want to sure.
Okay.
I'm gonna make it up for you. Don't worry.
I really like Michael Keaton in Birdman. I don't think he's the best performance in Birdman. I don't think he's the best performance in Birdman. I think I gotta say no because I want
what you should have gone with American Assassin.
I want to try to get the other performance from Birdman on here.
All right, so that's 1-0. Adam, what do you feel about Birdman?
Oh, I'm quite fond of his performance in that film. I agree with all of Jake's points about art imitating life in this case. I think Michael Keaton is an actor that when he disappeared from the scene for a while, I was really disappointed as well. So when Birdman came around and it really put him back in the spotlight, I was thankful for it because since then we've been treated to a lot of great Michael Keaton performances as a result. I don't know where this is headed. I don't know that this one's going to make the cut, Jake, but I'll vote yes because I love Michael Keaton. And I think that film is fantastic, and I think it's a great performance. And as good as Eddie Redmayne is, I would have liked to have seen Michael Keaton win that year because I think it was his last chance. But maybe I'll be proven wrong.
All right. I feel like I know where Coho's going since he said he's going to make up to Jake on the next pick. But what say you, Coho?
I don't think he's the best performance in Birdman, but I think he's phenomenal, and he should have won the Oscar. And I think Birdman's an incredible film. He is a very close second, and Jake, I'm literally if this doesn't go through, going to nominate a Birdman performance on my it was literally coming up. So I'm gonna say no in the hopes we can get the Birdman performance I like more in, but I won't be mad at this.
All right. Well, since I feel like the next one's gonna get ratified if we get there,
say yes.
I am going to say yes because I do prefer Michael Keaton over Edward Norton, which I'm sure is where you were
going.
We
were going to go for Edward Norton.
I knew it was going to be one.
I was going for Edward Norton.
All right. So that is it. Michael Keaton and
I'm fine
Birdman.
with it. I like Michael Keaton a lot.
Takes up the last spots on the list. All right. So we have our top 7. I want to take this time to go over some honorable mentions. My next nomination, I had it come to me, would have been Bradley Cooper in A Star Is Born.
It's great.
I nearly nominated him when I nominated Michael B. Jordan for Fruitvale Station, which, again, other 2 Jordan performances I had on my list, Creed and Black Panther. I think he's excellent in both these, and he's going to have a very, very great long career and probably an Oscar at some point. Mahershala Ali in Moonlight, I think, is incredible in that film. Hugh Jackman in Logan. I think if we're going to nominate a superhero performance, I think this would have been the one. Adam Sandler's excellent Uncut Gems. And a few more I want to throw to some more comedic performances. I want to throw some love to both Joseph Gordon-Levitt in 50-50, Taika Waititi, What We Do in the Shadows, and Hugh Grant in Paddington 2. I think is really excellent.
Yeah, Hugh Grant.
Yeah, Hugh Grant. Adam, any other honorable mentions you want to bring up?
Yeah, my final two were never going to make it. But Willem Dafoe in The Lighthouse, which
he's great.
The guy was born to play a wiki, as he calls himself in that movie. I mean, the guy he's Willem Dafoe, but he is so immersive in that role. And then Adam Driver in the Jim Jarmusch film Patterson, very overlooked and underrated performance. Adam Driver is obviously one of the biggest talents of the decade, and he really has done a lot of great stuff. But Patterson was completely overlooked, and that was a passion project he did with Jim Jarmusch, and it shows. And then an honorable mention for me would be Mads Mikkelsen in The Hunt.
Yeah,
really amazing film. I was close to nominating it, but I didn't think it would get ratified.
I would have backed you up 100%.
Honestly, with Cole Dick on your panel, there's a good chance it would have.
Okay.
I think Mads Mikkelsen's amazing. So.
Yeah, but that movie especially is just an emotional roller coaster. It really did me in. So really great film.
Yeah. All right. Jake, any other things you want to bring up?
I think my next pick would have probably been Daniel Day-Lewis in Phantom Thread. I know some people were not the biggest PTA fans. I think Phantom Thread is just goddamn fantastic, and this is probably my favorite DDL performance. I really love Daniel Plainview. I even like Bill the Butcher in Gangs of New York. This is the performance where I just like the elegance. I think in that is great. I would have gone Robert Pattinson in Good Time as well. I think that would have been an interesting, just try and give that one a shot. I really love, especially like coming after Twilight, and he's never been a bad actor. I think it's always about the certain directors that allow him to really showcase a great performance from him. And I think Good Time really shows he's in his own like little renaissance, and I think really he's just mesmerizing and similar to Adam Sandler in Uncut Gems. It's just the Safdies just create these very weird, eccentric characters, and I think Patterson's really good in this. And I think I probably would have gone with Chiwetel for 12 Years a Slave. I think that's one of the most like
that was on my short list too.
Mine too.
Like the most acting. Would have just loved to try and give him a shot, because he's just like there's just so much emotions and raw brutality. I feel he really showcases in his performance there. So that would have been 3 that I definitely would have.
I mean, probably should have won Best Actor for that year.
Probably.
Boatman, anything else you want to bring up before we move on?
My next one that I would have brought up, I'm a shill for this man, Albert Brooks in Drive. I
was waiting for
yes.
that.
Yes.
It was so close. I didn't think it would get ratified, so I didn't bring it up. But Albert Brooks in Drive, I think, gives the best attention. It's up there with Broadcast News for what I think is the best acting performance Brooks has ever given. He is just absolutely terrifying, and I don't like seeing Albert Brooks be terrifying because it's Albert Brooks.
I don't like seeing this man be scary because I love you.
Yeah, like that scene in the pizza place where he stabs the guy with the fork. Just no, I don't like that. He's really good. But like the way he's still so apologetic about having to like that he has to kill Ryan Gosling is great, because like that's Albert Brooks. Albert Brooks would like that's what Albert Brooks would be if he had to kill somebody. Like,
yeah,
I'm sorry. I was excited to work together.
Is that all?
Other ones, Jesse Eisenberg in The Social Network. Adam Sandler in Uncut Gems. My favorite Joaquin Phoenix performance of the decade is him in Her. I think his Theodore in Her. The fact he wasn't nominated for an Oscar for that performance is ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. He's incredible. One really fun comedic performance I love is Ryan Gosling in The Nice Guys. I think Ryan Gosling, that is probably my favorite Ryan Gosling performance, and that's my favorite lead actor performance of 2016. I think he's incredible in that movie.
All right. Coho, anything else you want to bring up before we move on?
I was gonna bring up Philip Seymour Hoffman in The Master at some point. I think he's amazing. Adam Driver in Marriage Story would have been my pick. He's my best actor for 2019. Saying in 2019, my best supporting actor, that was going to be one of my long shots, is Sterling K. Brown in the movie Waves.
He is awesome in Waves.
I think he is amazing in Waves. Another one I almost brought up for 2018, the person that I think should have been nominated in The Fifth Spot is W. Diggs for Blind Spotting. I think he's incredible.
That's a good pick.
Paul Dano in Love and Mercy was one I almost brought up. I think he's great. And Andrew Garfield in either Silence or The Social Network. I think he's great. And my fuck it up if I was like, all right, chaos pick was James McAvoy in Split, who I actually think is really good.
Really? Okay.
I think James McAvoy in Split's really great. So.
All right. Just a couple last ones on my list that didn't get brought up yet. James Franco in 127 Hours, I think is really excellent in that film. Mm-hmm. Matt Damon in The Martian.
Yeah.
One of my favorite picks. One of my picks for win best actor that year over Leo. Yes, I said it.
I agree with
that. Someone who's tragically snubbed, I think, is one of the best performances in the last couple of years. Samuel L. Jackson in Hateful Eight, I think, is fantastic. Mm-hmm. Chris Pine in Hell or High Water, I think, is great. And throw a smoke to a motion capture performance. Andy Serkis in War for the Planet of the Apes.
Yeah.
I think is maybe the best performance of his career. All right, but never mind that. We are done with our nomination period. We should now move on to... just to recap what we have on the list so far, we have J.K. Simmons in Whiplash. We have Joaquin Phoenix in The Master. We have Michael Fassbender in Steve Jobs. Leonardo DiCaprio in Django Unchained this time. Daniel Kaluuya in Get Out. Sam Rockwell in 3 Billboards. And last one on the list is Michael Keaton in Birdman. So that's our top 7 as it stands right now. Now we move on to the second part of the show. This is the cutting round. Now, with all the performances, this is top 5. This is the top 5 with Chance Ellison, not the top 7 with Chance Ellison. That'd be ridiculous. We now have to pick 2 performances to leave the top 5 before we move on. Leave the top 7 before we move on to a top 5. So, who do I give the first cut to? You know, I'm going to give Adam the first cut. Who do you think?
Do I need to get my whiteboard out? I actually have.
I thought there was like
we need it for later. We need it for later. But right now, you're getting ahead of the show. Right now, we got to do some cutting.
I missed something. Is Christian going to send us an angry note?
Maybe he might.
Am I allowed to get my whiteboard out?
I don't know.
Okay.
Well, best ask forgiveness, not permission. Yeah.
If anyone asks, you're actually Martin Starr.
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay. Yes. Thank you. That works for me pretty often.
Martin Starr. Who do you want to cut first off this list?
Oh man. Oh god. I don't want to seem like I'm picking on anybody. But I have to nominate someone to be cut, don't I? Sam Rockwell. Sam Rockwell.
That's how this goes. Yes.
No.
I'm sorry, guys. If I'm whittling down the top 7 to the top 5, that would be my first one to let go. Not because he's not talented and he doesn't deserve some love, but that's not one I'm going to be going back to a lot. So sorry.
All right. So Sam Rockwell is on the chopping block. Bo, this was your nomination. Does he stay or does he go?
Is that a question?
I'm not getting rid of Sam Rockwell.
I had to ask. I'm legally obligated to ask the question.
That's fair.
Coho, I'm going to go to you next. Does Sam Rockwell move on or does he get cut?
I think he's better than 2 of the other performances on this list, so I keep him.
Also want to say a big hello to Eric Nerd Chronic. Thank you for tuning in, buddy. I miss your couch. So I'm gonna go to me next, and I'm gonna say yes. Cut it. Time to cut it. All right. So, Jake.
Both were so excited.
Again, it's on me.
Coming down here.
So I said when I voted yes for him that I wanted it to be interesting to see him in the top 7. But I didn't think he was going to be the first person. Despite voting for him, I'm going to cut him. I think there's 6 other performances. I'm sorry, boy. I love you. I love Sam Rockwell. But I just think there are 6 better performances.
All right, well, Sam Rockwell, bye-bye, because you are not moving on to top 5. Caleb, since your pick got cut, I'm going to go to you next. Sorry, Boatman, since your pick got cut, I'm going to go to you next. Who do you want to see leave this list and not make it on to the top 5?
I think he's good, but I think I'm gonna say bye to Daniel Kaluuya.
Okay. I get it.
All right.
Kaluuya's on the chopping block. Adam, this was your nomination. Does he stay or does he go?
Boatman's coming right back at me. All right. Okay. Look, of course I'm going to stand by Daniel Kaluuya. I think Get Out is going to be one of the films that's remembered in the year 2100 from this whole century. And I think he's right at the center of it. It's a subtle performance. It's not one that plays to the Academy, but I think it is impactful, and I think it's going to stand the test of time more than a lot of other Academy Award winners. So I stand by it.
Okay, so that is one for it to stay. Jake, I'm not going to make you tiebreaker this time. I'm going to go to you right now. Does he stay or does he get out?
I think I pretty much agree everything with what Adam said. I think when aliens discover a time capsule in 2100, when we've all killed ourselves and discover the film Get Out and see how crazy human beings were, I think you're going to go, holy shit, let's move to another planet. And I think most of that is going to be through the performance of Daniel Kaluuya in this. Definitely will be remembered as one of the greatest horror performances of the 21st century. I am going to say stay.
All right. That's 2 for it to stay. I'm going to go to Coho next. Coho.
I'm going to cut Daniel Kaluuya. I think that he's good. But given the other 5 performances on the board, I'd rather this one leave than the other 5.
All right. I'm going to go to me next. I ain't cutting the only brother on this list. He stays. He moves on.
That's fair.
I'm not going to do it. You can do it, but I'm not going to do it. All right. So he stays. He's moving on to top 5. I'm going to go to myself. I'm going to give myself the next cut. And you know what? I'm cutting this then because I think that we had 2 better performances from him that didn't make the list. So I don't think Michael Fassbender should move on for Steve Jobs.
Fuck. That's not the movie the performance I thought you were about to bring up.
Yeah, me either. What the fuck?
I had a feeling it was going to be this.
All right. So, but I'm just one dude. Ko, this is your pick. What do you
Please
say?
to God, just be the only one dude, because I think this is number 1 on my list. I think this is the performance of the 2010. I think he's great. No way do I cut Michael Fassbender and Steve Jobs. It's such a great performance.
All right. So I go to you first, because oftentimes the person you nominate is not going to cut it.
Well, watch you go to me next time. Just be like, yeah, you know what? Get rid of him. I know I got him. Fuck that guy.
Get rid of him. Fuck him. Gonna go to Boatman. Michael Fassbender. Does he stay or does he go?
Yeah, no, I love his performance in this. So yeah, I'm gonna give this one a yes.
Caleb's are in sync today. What the fuck?
It's typically how it is.
That is traditionally how it goes.
All right, so that's 2 to stay.
Paul, you're late to the joke. I did that earlier.
Yeah, no, we literally made this joke earlier, but thank you. Good job, buddy. Gonna go to
I feel like the
Jake
template
next.
for a
Jake.
Paul joke is someone brings up a good movie, then Paul just like, well, what about this obviously bad movie?
No, but it's a
Paul
good
having a hot
call.
take in the chat.
What'd he say? He's gonna. Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, there we go.
Oh,
Not
that's
gonna
a
lie,
joke.
I'm kind of on your side, Paul.
Like, I don't hate the movie Jobs, but then I saw Steve Jobs and went, oh.
I'm from Ashton Kutcher's home state, and I think Ashton Kutcher is bad.
Really, Shemaiah, did not know that. Jake, I'm gonna go to you next. Fassbender, did you stay or did you go?
I mean, I didn't really want him to be in the top 7 because I think there are other performances. I'm going to put the pressure on Adam, and I'm going to say cut.
All right, Adam, you heard the man. Pressure's on you. Does he stay or is he cut?
I keep him.
Yeah!
Not expecting that.
Fassbender is locked.
That means
All right.
We had to give them
And
guys.
totally redeem
guys.
yourself.
Guys, here's the thing. He's really good in it, and they needed this one.
We did need this one. Thank you. We needed this one.
Lord knows, you.
We
people
lost
are
Sam.
I lost him, Rockwell.
We lost Sam. We can't lose to him more.
Just go watch Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Caleb.
Yeah, that's true.
Boatman.
Go watch the original movies. All right. See who hasn't got a chance to make a cut yet. I think it's. I'm gonna give the next cut to Jake.
But the people who are locked are the people I want to cut.
Too bad.
Oh shit! Oh, this is not good.
Hey! I know. I tried.
Relax. What's with this like assumptive approach to like these arbitrary rankings? I don't know.
All right. You gotta cut somebody, Jake. Sorry, Jake. Not Jake. Jake. You gotta cut somebody.
Damn it. I'm gonna say Leo in Django Unchained. There are people that I want to get cut, but they're locked now because people are crazy in this panel. But I'm gonna say Leo. I just think. I mean, I don't want to be like Paul and do the same thing he's doing, but I think there are better performances by Leo. I think this is definitely like in the top 5, but on the lower of the top 5. I think
J. Edgar.
there are other performances. J. Edgar, greatest cultural American figure in history. I just think there are other performances from Leo that I would have liked. I think he's good in this. I just think there are better performances as well in the film.
All right. I think Coho put this up, didn't he?
Bowen did.
No, I didn't.
Bowen put this up.
Yeah,
Okay,
I put this one, and I'm definitely keeping this one. I think he's absolutely incredible, and I think this is my favorite performance of his in the 2010s.
All right. Coho, this was your favorite movie?
It's one of my favorite movies ever, to be honest. It's definitely my favorite Tarantino. There's no way I'm cutting Calvin Candy, you know.
All right, Adam, I'm going to put the honors on you this time. I'm going to go to you next. Leonardo DiCaprio, just there as ago.
Am I allowed to get a refresher on who's left on the list?
Yeah, so locked performances are Danny Kaluuya and Fassbender and Steve Jobs. Still up in the air, J.K. Simmons Whiplash, Joaquin Phoenix and The Master. This one, and Michael Keaton and Birdman.
Sorry.
Well, look, I think Leo did a lot in this decade, and I know a lot of people have kind of revolted against his win in The Revenant. That's honestly my personal pick, just because I responded to that film. A very visceral reaction to that film, and I really love him in that movie. This is the only thing he has left on this list, and it's one of his other best performances in the 2010s. So I'd say we keep it.
All right, so it stayed. Leo is locked into the top.
Sorry, Jake. So sorry.
What are you gonna do? Damn it.
I know what I
no.
have to do, but I don't know if I have the strength to do it.
You better have the strength to do it because Caleb, you're the only one that has not attempted to make a cut in this round.
I'm so sorry. Okay.
He's
Sorry.
gonna be looking at you when you say his name.
That's not the name of the first thing. I'm gonna put Joaquin Phoenix and The Master.
Joaquin.
I think
shit.
I think J.K. Simmons is untouchable. There's no way I'm putting him up to cut. And I think Michael Keaton deserves it more than Joaquin. I think Joaquin the Master is good, but it's not. To me, it's a very similar performance that I've seen him give elsewhere. I'm going to leave Joaquin on the cutting room floor.
All right, Jake.
No.
This is
No.
Okay.
No. That's it. How dare you, son? How dare you?
Okay, fine. That's a no. That's a resounding no from Jake.
Wait, is that a no? Jake is cutting it, or is that a no?
No,
Jake is
he's not. He's not cutting. He's not cutting. It's,
I'm not cutting this.
actually, yeah, I'm having you go like.
That
towards the
feels
back a lot
like a
of this.
bad strategy to not cut it, Jake. Because if it doesn't get,
Yeah, that means Michael probably has to go.
yeah, like Keaton's probably gonna go if Phoenix doesn't get cut.
All right, Adam. I'm gonna go to you next. Joaquin, stay or go.
Yeah, given who we have left on this list, it's hard to ignore. And the thing is, I lobbied hard for Joaquin to get some recognition. But here's the thing: all of us mentioned different performances of his, even if he doesn't make this top 5, I think we can all agree he's a damn good actor. And for me, it's You Were Never Really Here. For Jake, it's The Master. For Boatman, it's Her. So, like, I think we can all agree he's great. But of the options left, of the 3 performances that stick with me, this would be the least. So I would agree to cut it.
All right. So
Under the circumstances.
that's 2 to cut, 1 to stay. Boat, going to you.
I prefer J.K. Simmons in Whiplash, and I prefer Michael Keaton in Birdman. Like, at the end of the day, I don't think we're going to cut J.K. Simmons in Whiplash, so it's really, would you rather have Keaton or Phoenix? I prefer Keaton.
All right, so that's it. Cutting round is over. Joaquin Phoenix did not survive. And now he's going to go do some Joker stuff to our houses. Lock your doors. He will show up. So that is it. We've gone from a top 7 to a top 5. Now comes the last part of the show, ranking. So we have our top 5. So now what I'm going to have a panelists do is, take your whiteboard, paper, whatever you have on hand.
All right, give me 1 second.
Go get your stuff, Adam. I did not tell you what you needed. A spot on the list is going to be up for voting. We were going to decide what film goes in said spot. So, you guys, we're gonna start off by going with the number 5 on the list. Adam's gonna say it again. Write down what you think should be the number 5 spot on the list.
All right, this will show you. I'm traveling for work and I have a whiteboard with me. So there you go, guys.
Hey, Paul, I'm trying to foot a lawsuit. Okay, can you okay, just.
I'm right.
I'm right.
I'm right.
Sorry, I might come in for that copyright.
Fuck me. My pen is deciding not to work, so I'm just gonna probably just go verbally. Going me first, I'm going to say Fassbender in Steve Jobs. Boat.
I said Daniel Kaluuya.
Coho.
Daniel Kaluuya.
Yosh. Jake.
Fassbender.
That's 2-2. Adam, do you have either of these written down?
I did get all the way to Fass.
Fass is number 5. All
I
right.
didn't technically
So
finish writing my answer. I don't know if that counts.
Michael Fassbender is number 5 on the list. So now, same thing. Who goes in the 4 spot on the list?
My 1's gone now, so that's interesting.
My 2 is gone, so.
Yep.
All right.
Now,
Caleb's. I'm assuming the Caleb's didn't change. Go ahead. All right. Adam, you were saying last. I'm gonna go to you next.
Sorry, guys.
DiCaprio.
Hey, I
Jake.
kept him in the top 5 at least.
I had the first part of that. Leo.
Ooh, man. This hurts me, honestly, because I have Kaluuya. I think it was a good. We kept it going for a good amount of time, but it's time to move on. Sorry, buddy. Sorry, honey. All right.
I mean, he made the top 5.
Same thing. Number 3 on the list. All right. I'm going to go to Adam and Jake first. I'm assuming you didn't change.
No.
All right. Sorry, Jake. I gotta go Keaton the next.
sorry, Jake. I also said Michael Keaton.
Sorry, Jacob.
Caleb.
No!
Keaton's locked at 3.
I'm so sorry, Jake.
All right. So now
Everybody
we
betrayed
have
me.
2 performances vying for the top spot on the list. Who is it going to be? Right
About
down.
number 1 now, right?
Yeah, number 1. Who do you think should be number 1 on the list?
What if Jake and I were just in this for the long con, guys?
That'd be impressive.
That would be a weird strategy, but
Bold strategy, Kyle. Let's see if it paid off for him. All right. Gonna go to Adam first.
Can we finally agree on something?
For number one?
Wait, I thought we said for number 2.
No, we're going number one.
We skipped
So,
2.
so that's your 2. So you going Simmons?
I blew it, guys. I'm a clueless dad. All right.
So Simmons, I'm assuming he's number 1.
Yeah, I would take Simmons for number 1.
All right, Jake.
It should be Keaton, but it's now going to be JK.
I also have Simmons.
JK, LOL, JK Simmons.
I want to point out that when Jake gave his answer, he said JK, so he was really voting for DiCaprio. But I also said JK.
All right, so that's it. We have our top 5. So our top 5 performances of the 2010 by a male, undisputed, everybody. Number 5, Michael Fassbender in Steve Jobs. Number 4, Danny Kaluuya in Get Out. Number 3, Michael Keaton in Birdman. Number 2, Leonardo DiCaprio in Django Unchained. And the number 1 performance of the 2010s by a male, J.K. Simmons in Whiplash. Deserving top spots. Interesting top 5, I will admit. But this was a hell of a show. I want to thank everybody who came on the show. I know Adam and Jake don't really have anything to plug, but Caleb, Coho, Boatman and Coho, I will let you guys go ahead and plug anything you want to plug right now.
We Multiplex Entertainment. If you haven't checked us out yet, me and Boat run part of the admin team that runs that channel. Boat runs Movie Warzone with Cody Newberry. I run Phantom Fights with Nick Tuig and Tim Bracala. We also have Your List Sucks with Cody Newberry on Wednesdays. Multiplex Those Movies with Tim on Tuesdays. 2 Weeks Trivia Night on Sundays. Multiplex Miscellaneous on Mondays. We're packed. All sorts of stuff. Just come subscribe to the channel, join the Facebook group, get involved. It's a fun time.
All right. And it's going to do it for the show. I want to thanks to the panel for joining me. And I know, like I said, this is one part of our Oscars, duo for top 5s. And of course, we gave the males a shine, but next time we're giving the females a shine. Top 5 performances, female edition, will be the next episode. Going to get some killer ladies on that panel, I promise.
Spoiler alert, I'd put Kate Winslet, Steve Jobs at number 1.
Really?
She's very high on my list. Maybe not number 1, but she's high up there.
Jesus. Okay, that's going to do it for us here. And thank you all for watching, and we will see you next time.